Parker, you're recognized.
I would make a motion that we give authority to our attorney to make an offer of $850,000 to the JDL of Santa Rosa LLC for the 19 plus or minus acres that was proposed off of Avalon Boulevard. That we do so with a 75-day due diligence period, and that I would, as part of that motion, request that they have a 10-day window to give us a response.
We have Roy, you're recognized.
A 75-day due diligence period that we determine the suitability in our sole discretion.
We'll see if we get a second on the motion, and then we'll see if we want to add that
Second.
to language. We have a properly formatted motion and a second. We have a recommendation from the county attorney. Would you agree to add that language, include that language with your motion?
I would
Parker?
agree, and I would like to give the attorney the authority to draft the paperwork or however he deems fit, as well as the authority to move forward with the phase 1 and 2 environmental, check with DOT on the requirements and any other, as you said, due diligence that we see fit, to include having Mr. Blaylock's department look at it.
We have a properly formatted motion. Does your second still stand, Vice Chairman Cole?
Absolutely.
Moving on to discussion, I would say that there is a fine line between courageous and reckless. And I could understand the reason for expediency, but this is a decision that
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
is incredibly surprising to me. But that's why there's 5 of us elected up here, you know? So we have a properly formatted motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? Commissioner Salter.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, after listening to all the reasons why we were considering 3 different sites, we've been trying to do this for 20 years. And it's my history, the longer you delay, the more negative it gets, and the more hostile the whole concept becomes. And I've always said we shouldn't let the site get in the way of building a new courthouse. This JDL site 3 years ago, when we did the demographic study, actually came out number 2 on the site. And if I remember correctly, there were, I'm going to use Commissioner Lynch's name, he supported that site 3 years ago. I don't see where anything has changed to make this a very favorable site since that 3-year study. And that's why I'm supporting today. Let's go ahead and pick a site and move forward. And I don't think it's reckless because this has been studied for 3 years. So,
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to get the City of Milton downtown site approved and came up just short this last time. So you guys taking the ball and running with it this time, and I hope at the end of the day that we're successful and that it results in delivering a courthouse. We have a motion and we have a second.
Mr. Chairman.
Prepared to call the vote, Commissioner Parker. Usually when you're winning, you would let that go, but go right ahead.
Appreciate it. Just for the record, I want to echo what Commissioner Salter had stated. I have looked through the entire HOK study that the county did pay for, and that goes back to just what I want to reiterate. This is not a new site or something that hasn't already been looked at. But thank you for the.
Thank you, Commissioner Lynchard.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I am not opposed to the JDL site. I have tried to approach this in a prudent manner and to afford this board every opportunity to review the parcels that were submitted, the parcels under consideration, to ensure that we get it right. If we move forward and purchase this property on Avalon without a funding source, and we close in 75 days, and we go out to referendum next year and are not successful, then we still have this property on Avalon. And we are stuck with a location forevermore. So that's my concern. We are moving at a pace that I think could lead to some problems down the road. Again, after Monday's meeting, we were not asked to weigh the relative merits of each of these 3 locations. And now we're being asked to make a decision that will have long-lasting ramifications for the county. I just think we're moving too fast.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And without any evaluation, I'm not against the JDL site either. I just don't know enough about it to make an informed policy decision on one of the largest capital investments in this county's history, based off of, we had a conversation on Monday, and now we come here on Thursday, and we're going to make a decision that would set us on a course of buying this property, and I know very little about it. I know very little of what the fiscal ramifications of this would be. I have no idea if there's public support for this whatsoever. And this board is going to have to live with this decision, and I just feel like there is no reason to put this forward and make this decision today. But we have a properly formatted motion, we have a second, and we have had discussion. I would ask Commissioner Parker if you would reconsider your motion.
I just want to make an address concerning what Commissioner Lynchard said, because I can assure you that is something that I've thought about. And if we purchase any property, and I think you'll agree with this, we're stuck with it, so to speak, I think was the term used. And we carry it to the citizens, which I think we've all said would be the best, most equitable way to pay for it through a half-cent sales tax. But no matter where we buy, if the citizens say no to that half-cent sales tax, then what I would expect and be prepared to do is move forward with, again, maybe a tough decision, just like we're going to have to make in another budget cycle if this homestead exemption passes, just like y'all had to do in 2008 when revenues were cut, tough decisions. But I don't plan to buy a piece of property and sit on it. I wholeheartedly agree with Commissioner Cole's comments that the citizens made it clear to me, and I think it's been clear for years, that they are ready for the board to make a decision. If this was a site that had not already been studied, I mean, I've got a binder on my desk from months ago with the HOK study, as Commissioner Salter stated, then I would say this is hasty. But this is also, we're giving ourselves a due diligence period to review it. But no matter what property we buy, just like the downtown site, in all fairness, the citizens didn't pass it. So tough decisions will have to be made if that happens. But that's sort of my comment to that. Again, this is not something that has only been looked at since I've been on the board. And even when we talk about the considerable time, we put out an RFP, so we've been talking about this already for a couple months. And I think, as Commissioner Salter stated, to belay this just for the sake of saying we're delaying it, I don't think is prudent, and I don't think is what we owe our citizens. And that's the reason, again, I've said before, and I know there'll be criticism to come, but there'll be criticism to come from no matter what location. So that's just my only statement to the fact that this is something that we've already identified, the Avalon Highway 90 corridor, from a study that other commissioners, and respectfully so, I've learned that, hey, you got to, and a lot of times have paid, I don't know the exact amount we paid HOK, but tens of thousands of dollars to study it, and they identified that corridor. So that's my response, and if the chairman's will, I'll be ready to move forward with it.
Okay. We haven't had any due diligence on the Moore site yet, but who knows what they were going to offer in the way of a proposal. We'll never know now. All those in favor, actually, would you please, for the record, restate your motion, Commissioner Parker, so we have a clear understanding of what we're voting on today, so the record will show, and when the public reads the newspaper tomorrow and finds out what decision was made today, they'll be able to watch the review, and we'll all know what was decided upon.
I will, and I'll just make a quick rebuttal to that. The company that made the proposal for the Moore site you mentioned, as the gentleman from JDL say, and I can say that I've talked with Brian DeMaria concerning that site, actually does not own the site. They have an option on the site, and you're getting into a whole nother level of at what point you know, we've got to give them parameters for them to know what they're going to come back. This isn't going to be a, hey, we can make this decision. There's just a lot of unknowns there for them to even be able to have the ability and us to give them a concrete answer to move forward with that, for whether or not they're going to exercise that option to even purchase the property. So with that, the motion is that we allow Roy, our county attorney, to make an offer in the amount of $850,000, which the number they submitted, just for the record, was a little over $1,150,000. So this would be, you know, you're looking at approximately $250,000 less. I feel like that's very prudent. The offer would be for $850,000 with a 75-day due diligence period to be, as Roy stated, I guess I'll let him inject the proper language for the diligence as we see fit, or what he stated earlier.
In our sole discretion.
At our sole discretion.
Whether to make the purchase in our sole discretion.
And that if at the end of that 75-day due diligence period we decided to move forward, that we would then have 30 days to close on the property after that. I believe that, did I cover everything, Roy, that would be necessary for that?
I think you had said you wanted a 10-day response period.
Thank you for reminding me. I would also like to caveat on that offer that you make, that we give them 10 days to respond to the offer. I'll do so without objection.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second the motion. The only thing I would possibly recommend, instead of including a fixed price for the location, change that to say not to exceed $850,000.
I believe that we had a properly formatted motion before. We had a second from Vice Chairman Cole. I was just asking for a restatement of the motion. So you're offering an amendment now? Would you please clarify your amendment, Commissioner Salter?
I'm done.
No, so you're withdrawing your amendment? Yeah. Okay.
We
have a motion. Does your second still stand, Commissioner Cole?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, then we will now call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, signify by raising your right hand. Let the record show that Commissioner Parker, Vice Chairman Cole, and Commissioner Salter voted in favor, and Commissioners Lynchard and Commissioner Williamson voted against. Motion carries. It's 10:33. We're going to take a break and come back at 10:45.